So in the previous lesson, we learned the control flow, the if conditional. For today, we'll be learning the for, which is, we can call it low for. We use it when we want to repeat or execute line of code or multiple lines of code multiple times. So if you want to repeat the code multiple times, we need the for loop, which is the second tool or the second keyword that we are using for the control flow. The first one is if, the second is for. So how we can write it first? We have for. After that, we need to write, like, we can call it like a variable, temp variable. We can say, for example, I, in, and now we have range. Here we can write the number of times that we want this code to be repeated. So this I, it can be like anything. We can call it X, we can call it I, we can call it whatever we want. It doesn't matter, but it is like a standard. We use I. For I range, it means that we need to repeat this loop 10 times. Okay. So after that, the same or similar to the for, the if, the conditional if, we need to write the code that we want to repeat after the for. Okay. So here we want, let's say that I want to print the word number 10 times. So I'll say print, and here write the word that I want to repeat. Like, let's say number, just the word number. I want it to be repeated or to be printed 10 times. What will happen now is that when we execute this code, it will start, I will start with 0, always. The variable that we'll be using here will start from 0. Either I or any other name, doesn't matter. And it is going to come to here, execute, and first, before coming, it will compare it. Is it in the range like 10? Yes, it is. So it will come to here and print this number. So it will be printed like the word number. And then I will be raised by 1. So it is going to be from 0 to 1. So now it is 1. It will come to here again, and it will be executed. Okay? And then it will like print the number again, number, the second time, and then raise by 1. So it's going to be from 1, it's going to be 2. And the same, it will be looped like this. It's going to be printed number and then increase by 1. Print number and then increase by 1. And like this until it reaches to 10. The last one is going to be, it is going to be print like a number 9 times. When it reaches to 10, it will come to here. Is it in the range of 10? No, it is not in the range of 10 because it must be less than this number. So since it is not, it will execute, it will like exit the for loop. Okay, this is what will happen. So we'll have, what we'll have is the word number written 10 times from 0 when I equals to 0 till I equals to 9. So this means 10 times. So let's execute that here. So we need to come to here and we need to write it. It's going to be for, then I, or we can call it anything. We can call it like N or U, or it doesn't matter. N, now the range is going to be like the number of times it should be repeated. We want to repeat it like 10 times. And then don't forget the colon. And the same as if, when we want like nested, or we want to write anything, it should be like nested inside, like not like indented, like there is a space from the beginning. And now write what we want. We want it just to print the word number. Okay, so when we execute it, it is going to be repeated as we said 10 times. So here the I or the U equals to 0 and then equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until it reaches to 9. To make it even more obvious, we can just print the U. So we want it 10 times and print the U. the variable that we have. When we print it and we run it, as we can see here, the first one is 0, so it starts with 0, then it raised by 1, increase by 1, and print, increase by 1, and then print it, 2, increase by 1, and like this until it reaches to 9. When it reaches to 9, it prints 9, and then it increases by 1, so it becomes like 10. So now it is going to be compared. Now U is 10, so compare it. 10, is it in the range of 10? No, it is not, so it will execute. And as we said, we can apply any calculation, like I wanted U multiplied by 10. So it's going to be multiplied. We can make it like number as text and number also. And let's run it. So we have number as and 10 1. We can just remove this one to make it just numbers. So we can apply anything. But this is not practical, or we are not going to be using this way most of the time, because sometimes we don't know how many times we can run this code, or we want to run this code. So we cannot use the range. Range, we use it when we have a specific number of times that we want to apply. For example, I have like 100 students. I want just 10 students. So I am gonna just use this one, 10. So from the 100 students, I'm gonna have just only 10. This is when I want to do. But sometimes we don't know the number. So we want just whatever in the list, or in the like document, or in the data that we have. So in this case, we are going to be using something else, which is not using a range. We are going to be using a list. What does it mean, a list? As we can see here, or as we already used before, we have like these ones, Amal, Khalid and Susan, their education level. And we had like here, we had like bachelor, and we have here master, okay, and we have here master. But here they are stored as separate entities. So what happens in the RAM, we have here the RAM, and it is divided into locations, and this location named Amal, okay, Amal education. This is the name, and the value is bachelor. The second location is like Khalid education, and the value is master. And in another place, we have the value of Susan. So the name is Susan education, and the value is master. This is what this is how it is stored in the RAM, or in the memory. Okay. And each one when we want to recall, or we want to give the value for each one, we need to call the name of the value, the name of the variable, okay? This is not practical, because let's say that we have 100 employees. Then I need to give 100 name and 100 value, which is not practical, because most of the time we will be dealing with like such huge number of values. So it is not practical to give each one a name and a value. So what we will be doing is that we are going to give only a name, one name, and for the whole values, for all values that we have. The name will be what? Will be, let's call it education, or we can call it education, like employee education, okay? And this value should store all the value, or should store the name, like Amal, and also store her education, bachelor, and store Khalid and his education, master, and store Susan and her education. This is called a list. A list means just one name, and all the values will be stored according to this name, with this name only. So if we want to get the values, we just need to call education. So we'll get the whole value instead of calling each one by one. How we can do that? We simply can do that by coming to here. Let's just create another one. And from here, we want to create a list. We can say M, like employee, education, an employee and his education. Okay, and equals like any assignment equals, but inside square brackets, we need to write the values. And since they are all strings, so it should be like inside double quotes or single quotes, doesn't matter. Okay, so let's start. We have Amal education, and here education is bachelor degree. And then the second one, we have Khalid education. And we are going to keep writing all of these ones. So as you can see here, we have Susan, bachelor, Amal, master, and Khalid, master. Now, if I want to give the values for each one, I can use the for loop. The for loop is going to be like this. First, we need to run it to store the values inside it. Then we need to write for. And instead of saying I in range, because we don't know how many employees do we have, okay? So we don't want all the employees. We don't know how many of them. So we say for, and then I, and then what? In we need, and then instead of saying in range, we say in and the string name, which is M education, this one. So for this one, what we want is print what? Print I. So what will happen now is it is going to start. Let's just run it first. So as you can see here, we have here the values. The first value is written first, and then second and first. What happened is for I in print I, so I will start with the first one and then print it. So we'll print education, and then it loops. It come to here because it's for loop, so it come back. So it get to the second one, and it will print the second value, and then loop again to the third, fourth, and fifth until it reaches to the last one. We have master for Khalid, and then it loops, but we don't have any value, so it breaks or exit the loop. So this is how we can recall the values in a list. Of course, we will be learning like list in much more details, but this is as just to have in mind. For today, we'll be learning about a control flow that we may not or we will not be using a lot, but it is good to know that in case we need to use, which is the while. We learned before about the for loop. We said that we can use it when we want to apply or we want to repeat code or line of code, multiple lines of code. When we want to repeat the execution of these codes multiple times, we use the for loop. We also can use while for the same thing. We will use the while for repeating the execution of code, line of code or multiple lines of code. But there is like some differences that we can see between while and for. Number one is in for, we don't need to assign I. I is already automatically default assigned. When we use it, it's assigned to 0. Always. It is assigned to 0 when you use it here. Either I or any other name, it doesn't matter. Okay? It is always assigned to 0. And it is also increased by 1. So it will be increased by 1 each time. So it is 0 now. It will print number. Okay? And we'll get back again. And it will be 1. Increase to 1. And create number. And then repeat to be 2. And it will happen like this until it reaches to 10. So it will break. This is what what for is being executed, how it is executed. And while when we use while, no, we need to assign I before we use it. So if we come like here and we try to use while, like while I or you or whatever name we want, we can use another name like I equals to or smaller than 10, and we want to print the U. And we want to execute it. Oh shit, because yeah, shit. Wait, yeah, we cannot use Y, U, because we already assigned it somewhere here. So we need to use something else. Let's say something like Z. Okay. So when we come to here and we click, Z. When we click here and we want to run it, it says that name Z is not defined. It is not defined. So we need to define it. While when we use it for, we don't need to assign it here. Like as we did here, it is not assigned. We don't need to assign it. But for while, we need to assign it first. Like let's say Z equal to 0. Now it is assigned. And when we click run, as you can see here, what will happen is it will repeat the same thing. It will get into infinite loop. So there is no end for this loop. Why is that happening? Because we assigned it to 0. Okay. And then we said, if it is less than 100, like 10, print Z. So what will be printed is always 0 because it is not increasing like automatically as in 4. For 4, we have 0, then increase by 1 and get back and increase by 1 until it reaches to 10. So we have like 10 numbers as we did here, like 10 numbers. But for loop, we need to make the increase manually. So we need to increase it by ourselves. So we need to stop this one because it will not ever finish. Okay. So we need to come to here and see Z equals to Z plus 1. So it means each time we print Z, we should increase it by 1. So from 0, it will like type 0, then increase it by 1. So it will be like Z, it will equal to 0 first. But when we reach to here, we want to increase it by 1. So it is going to be 1. So we print 1, then increase it by 1. So 2, print 2. And like this until it reaches to 10. So when we run this one, we can see that it's 1, 2, 3 until it reaches to 9, which is the last one. And we need to do this, as we said, we need to do it manually because it is not being achieved or executed or increased by 1 automatically like 4. So a third problem that we have with while is that we cannot use it easily as we did here for lists. For here it is simple, we use for I in the list and print it, and that's it. And also we used it with range, okay, like number of times that we want to repeat it. But for while it is not that easy. So that's why it is difficult or it is rare to use while, because for can do everything that we want. Okay, so this is the difference between while and for in case that you need to use while. The last point that we want to teach now or to learn now is the break. That in case I don't want these to be executed or to reach to its end, to the last one. Imagine that, for example, I have like 1,000 students and I only want to see just 10 students, the information, the data of 10 students. So I don't want it to be done like this. Yes, I know I can change it from here. I can put like a list number, but sometimes we do not know how many number of students do we want. Let's get another example. Here, let's say that I have an employee education, but I want just to find the first master employee, the first employee who have a master degree. So if I run this code, we can see that we have bachelor, we have master, okay? But I want the first one. So in this case, I need to put a break and a condition. So I come to here. After the employee is being printed, employee or education of the employee, I want to just say I want to condition if I, which is the value that we have here, if I equals to master. If I equals to master, then colon, then I want you to break. Break means just break the loop, get out of the loop, exit the loop. Okay, so once you find someone who has a master, just break the loop. So now when I execute it, as you can see here, we have Susan, which is a bachelor. That's fine. Continue. But we have Amal, which is a master degree. So that's why it comes to here. It finds Amal is a master degree, then break, get out. Where is Khalid? He is not there. Okay? So this is why we use the break. Sometimes we need a condition to put a condition that gets out of the loop. That's why we use, as we said, the break. So this is how we can use the while, which we will not be using a lot or we rarely use. And we also how we can use the break in case we want to exit the loop either with a condition or even without a condition. If I don't put a condition and I wrote like a break, okay, and run, we have only one. Why one? Because we have I and it will execute the first one, will print the first one, print I, then break. Just print one and break. So sometimes we need a condition to break some loops.